Welcome to China, a vast, mysterious, powerful land, shrouded in exotic language and steeped in rich culture. Right in the heart of the country lies Chengdu, home to over 20 million people, a few hundred pandas, and some of the world's most spicy food. With the country opening up transit visas on arrival, we decided to explore this region for a few days. This is the second part of my Chengdu series, and here's how it went.
Good morning, guys. It is day 2 here in Chengdu, and we are going to start the day by heading up to the Panda Research Center, which is in the northeast part of Chengdu here. So we're going to take the metro to Panda Avenue and then get the bus to Panda Express and check out the pandas of Chengdu. We've had just about a 45-minute ride up to the northeast part of Chengdu, and we've made it to the Chengdu Panda Research Institute, and it's this massive complex up here, and it was about $7 or $8 to enter, and we have this giant forested area where we're going to see some giant pandas as well as some red pandas, and the giant pandas are very endangered. There's less than 2,000 of them in the wild, so this is a breeding and conservation center that's just helping preserve the species and help doing some research that can rehabilitate the species, and they're slowly growing. So we're very excited. This is like one of the top things to do here in Chengdu, and all throughout the town you're seeing signs of pandas, you're seeing panda souvenirs, so this is definitely one of the highlights in Chengdu. And I think there's about 187 pandas that are in the conservancy here. So let's walk around, check it out. Just got our first glimpse of a panda there, and he was munching on some bamboo, and then he got up, was walking around, and you're definitely fighting crowds here trying to look through the windows, but really cool view of the panda. Again, being here in the early morning, it's nice and cool. They're going to be a lot more active. So yeah, let's keep walking around, see what other pandas we find. So we've just had a couple really nice viewings of some pandas, and it's feeding time, so some of them were eating bamboo and we were watching them walk around the enclosure a bit. And then we've just come to the Sun Giant Panda Nursery, and we saw this mom and baby interacting in this enclosure here, and it was really, really cute. So anyways, I think we're gonna keep walking around. There's a red panda exhibit near here, so let's head over and check out some of the red pandas. Right after we saw all of those sleeping pandas and the ones that were just eating, we came up this hill and there's a panda right on the tree, right above the path here. And it's just a very close-up view of the red panda. You can just see his face. It's such a cute animal. Right as we were leaving the red panda exhibit there, we just saw 3 or 4 of these red pandas, and one was just hanging right on this tree right above the trail. And we saw a couple more climbing the tree and some active pandas. So yeah, very cool. Such a cute animal, this beautiful long red striped tail. So anyways, we're gonna head out of the red panda exhibit, but there's so much more of the park to see here, so let's see if we can find some more pandas. About 12:30, so we've spent almost 3 hours in the Panda Center here, and we've barely scratched the surface. We've only seen 2 of the 5 sections, and so there's so much more you could see, but we saw about 20 giant pandas and then about 10 red pandas, and the giant pandas were just so active. We saw them eating, we saw them playing, we saw a few sleeping and just like hanging off of trees, and we really got to see just so much of the panda activity, and they were so playful, so cute, and just such cool like little faces, and it was really fun to just see the giant pandas here. So anyways, we're gonna head out of the Panda Research Center here, head back to Chengdu. There's about 2 or 3 other temples that we want to check out in the Chengdu city center area. So we have just come back to Chengdu from the Panda Research Center, and we're in Wenshu Fong, which is this really old quarter of Chengdu here, and there's the Wenshu Monastery, but the streets just have this old classic style. We have some red lanterns, and there are these really fun dessert places. We got some rice sticky balls at this little stand out here where he like bounces it off of this drum, and it makes a cool sound. So we're gonna get a little snack here, and then we'll head into the Wenshu Monastery. We have just entered the Wenshu Monastery here, which is right on the edge of that Wanshu Fang, this older district of Chengdu. And as we walked in, there was this giant towering pagoda that was right in the center there. And then we came in to the main hall here, and you can hear there's monks chanting, and this is an active monastery. And there's been a temple on this complex for the last 1,500 years. So this site is very ancient, very sacred. And there are 2 or 3 of these other halls with more Buddhist shrines throughout here. And then right next to the Wenshu Temple, there's this really big tea house that has some other interesting pagodas and some interesting Chinese architecture. So yeah, we're gonna walk around, check out some of this cool architecture in the Wenshu Monastery. Right next to the courtyards we were exploring, we came out, and then there was this whole other series of temples at the Wenshu Monastery here. So you have just a lot of things to see, a lot of different shrines, and then you have these big open courtyards with this old Chinese architecture, just really cool to see. So anyways, you can spend a lot of time here at the Wenshu Monastery. There's a lot of artwork to see as well in all of these shrines around the courtyards, beautiful lamps. But we have 2 other temples we're trying to see before they close. So we're gonna go across town to the Wuhou Temple. So let's head to the subway. We've just taken the metro across Chengdu to the southwest part of the city here, and we are in the Wuhou Temple, which is one of the oldest temples and architecture here in Chengdu. It was built in 223 AD. Right in the middle you have a mausoleum of one of the original emperors of the city. And then you have some sacred temples and other sites and stones that are throughout this complex. And it's a really big area here, so let's just walk around and see a little bit of this historic temple. Right when you enter the Wuhou shrine, you walk straight ahead and you're in this big courtyard, and you just have this hall that goes around the edge that has all of the old leaders of the Chengdu region, and then right at the front you have this big gold statue of Liu Bei, which was one of the original emperors of the Han Dynasty that died here in about 220 AD, and that's when a lot of this temple and shrine area was first started. And then again, all around the edge here, you have different leaders, different rulers, different emperors from different eras all along the edge here in this like really realistic way, and they have a lot of like the traditional clothing on, and it's really cool just walking around here in this first courtyard. But there's a lot more to explore, so let's keep walking around the Wuhou complex. Just been walking around the Wuhou Temple complex here, and there's a bunch of different shrines. And again, that first room, you had a lot of these old emperors of the region all around the walls here. And then right in the middle, we have the Liu Hai tomb, which is just this big kind of garden that's in this like dome shape, but you walk through this black archway that has the tombstone inscription, and it's one of the largest mausoleums I've seen. And then all around the tomb here, you just have this nice little brick path that takes you in a big circle around the tomb. And yeah, it's just kind of nice and peaceful. You just feel like you're out in nature here. And even around a lot of the shrines, it's been really busy. There's a lot of people, but here it just seems a little bit more quiet, a little bit more remote, a little bit more solemn. So yeah, anyways, there's a lot more you can see and do here in the Wuhou Temple complex. I think we're gonna head out because there's one more temple that we wanted to check out here in Chengdu before it closes at 6. We have just taken a 15-minute taxi ride up north from the Wuhou Temple, and we've come to the Chingyang Taoist Temple. And this is one of the oldest and largest Taoist temples here in China, and it was built in 881 AD, and we only have about half an hour before this place closes, but there'll just be some really beautiful old temples, old architecture. So let's just walk around a little bit in the Chingyang Taoist Temple here and see what we see. So that's about it for the Chingyang Taoist Temple. It's about 6 now, so they're starting to close up a lot of the shrines, and a lot of the shrines you weren't allowed to take any photos in there, so you'll have to come and see those for yourself. But very beautiful statues and just artwork. A lot of the walls of the temple just have these beautiful old style Chinese paintings, and then you have all of this pagoda style architecture, and then especially right in the middle there, that 3-story pagoda is just absolutely beautiful, and you have these stunning roofs on all of these temples, and then these big open courtyards. And it seems like every temple here in Chengdu we enter thinking it's just going to be 1 or 2 little courtyards, and it just keeps going and going and going. That's been our experience with all of the temples that we've been going to so far, is it's never just one temple. There's always like a whole complex with like 15, 20 buildings, and this is no exception. This is just a really massive place, so you could spend a lot of time. Unfortunately, we were a little bit rushed with the closing time here, so we weren't able to see all of the shrines and all of the temples. But anyways, we have about an hour until the sun sets, so we're gonna head back to the Wuhou Temple. And right next to the Wuhou Temple, there was the Jin Li Street, which is another old historic street here in Chengdu, where there should be some cool lanterns lit up at dusk and some cool shops and just another historic park to check out. So yeah, let's head back to the Wuhou area and check out Jin Li Street for the evening. We have just come back to the Wuhou Temple area, and right next to the Wuhou Temple there's the Jin Li Alley, which is another one of these old style Chinese alleyways. You have these red lanterns, and it's just turning into dusk, so you have this great mix of daylight still, and then the lanterns just turned on at 7 o'clock. And so it's kind of like the alleys we did a little bit last night. I think it'll be a little bit smaller, but you have all of these shops and restaurants along here. You can sample a lot of different foods. So yeah, let's walk around the Jin Li Alley and yeah, check out the vibe here. So that is the Jin Li Ancient Street right next to the Wuhou Temple, and it's actually so much bigger than I thought. There's this one really long street that goes down the side of the Wuhou Temple, but then it comes back behind here, and you have all of these food court areas and a lot of restaurants, and there are so many like cool touristy shops and local shops, and everyone's giving out free samples. I've had like so many free samples coming down that road, and you have all of these magical red lanterns just hanging from the buildings and hanging on the streets, and just mixed with all of these old buildings with old Chinese writing on them. very, very cool. And then again, it opens up here into this big open space. We have a little bridge and some water right behind the Wuhou Temple. So very cool place to come at dusk especially, and then into the evening, because you get these red lanterns and just mixed with the old architecture. Really pretty, really elegant. So anyways, we're gonna hang out here for a little bit. We're gonna get some dinner and just enjoy the red lanterns and enjoy the night here in Chengdu. And that about wraps up my video of Chengdu. I really didn't have many expectations coming here, and I hadn't really seen much of Chengdu like online, so a lot of these things I was seeing for the first time and discovering, and there were so many temples, and all of the temples were just these massive places with so many different shrines and so many different things to see, and just the city itself is just so big but so clean and quiet, and just a really nice place to walk around and just enjoy the 4th largest city in China. Just a really cool place to check out. And then of course seeing the iconic pandas this morning was just a really awesome thing to experience here in Chengdu. So anyways, the next couple days, we still have 2 more days here in Chengdu on our transit visa. So I think there are some things that you can check out just on easy day trips from Chengdu here. There's a giant stone Buddha down in the south in Leshan, and then there's a really cool bookstore and a mountain region just to the northwest of the city here. So the next couple days we're going to be going around showing you guys a little bit of the other things that you can do just outside of Chengdu with an easy day trip. So yeah, that's it for Chengdu. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time when we explore the outskirts and some of the day trips of Chengdu.